It's a beautiful wintry day today. We're going to be working on the single cab. I think my negative battery terminal has decided to leave the chat. So we got to fix that. I'll get her inside and I'll see you guys in there. We've got power. Let's see if she starts now. Alright, this is probably going to be one of two final parts of the $500 GMC SIERRA series. So today we got a bunch of goodies. Number one thing, as you guys requested, I ordered rocker panels and cab corners. As you guys know, the rockers and cab corners are very rotted out on this truck. And ever since my first video, I've had comments and comments and comments telling me, do the rockers and the cab corners. I also have U-bolts so that we can take the lift block out of the rear, which jacks the back end up about 1.5 inches or so. We also have some speakers for the doors. I'm just going to be upgrading the door speakers with the CT Sound 6.5s. They were like $50 or so on Amazon. Let's get to working on this thing. I still have no cameraman, so bear with me. I'm putting some jack stands underneath this thing, and I'm now realizing how crusty these are. Oh no. I do not know what I'm getting myself into here, do I? Pro tip here, if you turn your hood like this, when you're underneath, and you hit this thing with the impact, the rust won't go in your eyes. We have one U-bolt being a huge pain. It's the one on the back right side that you can see the most threads on. I have about a 4-foot piece of pipe on a 3-foot breaker bar. And you can see I'm actually twisting the end of the breaker bar, but I think she's loose. We'll try to throw the impact back on there now. What we have to do now is lift the rear end away from the axle. Now, I know my dad doesn't watch my videos, but if he did, I'm very grateful for you, and having the ability to use this stuff makes my life way easier. Looks like just using the lift did work. Now we just have to get them disconnected. I have made a fatal flaw. I bought round U-bolts, not squared off ones. So we're at our best friends at O'Reilly's, and we're going to pick up some square ones. This right here is where my fatal mistake was. This one right here is the factory U-bolt. It sits in its housing. Very nice. This is the one that I just bought because we're going to be tapping into threads that the original one didn't have. Sits in the housing. Nice and flush. This is what I got the first time. Sits in the housing. Not nice. Right now, the rear end is dropped and that pin's aligned. So I'm going to put the U-bolts in the carrier over there and tighten them down just snug. And then I'm going to get the left side lined up and we'll get everything tightened down. And then that part's done. You can now see that all of these are snugged down. What you can also see is that there is a lot hanging over. We're going to take a cutoff wheel, zip off the ends kind of evenly. We could also blast it with a torch, but that would mean the next guy can't get them off. And that sucked pretty bad. Wow. Wow. That's level. Well, it's a little low in the back, but I have weight in there. Let's get some weight out of the bed and see how this thing looks. Before I show you the truck level, let me show you what it looked like going down the road not level. He looks so good leveled. I thought that I was going to have to crank the torsion keys to make up the difference, it looks like this truck, oddly enough, had a 2-inch block in the back. I thought factory was 1 1/4 for whatever reason. In my experience, it has been. I guess not. Let's go get back in the shop now. We have some speakers to put in, and I have to go pick up a friend that's a much better welder and body guy than me. He's going to help me out in fixing the rust that you guys have been telling me since the first video I need to fix. Alrighty, y'all. So we are currently going to get Twan. He's going to help us do the rockers on the truck. We're going to try to knock this out as quickly and efficiently as possible. So I might not be doing a ton of explaining throughout the process. Pretty much the idea of this is we're cutting out the bad parts of what is there. We're finding solid metal, and then we're going to cut the pieces of rockers and cab corners that they sent us and splice them into there. We're gonna weld them into the good metal, and hopefully with a little bit of Bondo and a little bit of paint, you'll never know that they were done, or at least it'll look like they were done very professionally. If the inner rockers are good, I'll probably prime and paint these this video. If not, we might not get to that or the speakers, because in all honesty, I kind of accounted for a few hours in the garage this video, and I have a wild feeling it's going to turn into like 6 to 8. I got pieces of the house, Here it is. It looks like I kind of underestimated how bad the inners were. So we've got a few pieces of sheet metal here that we're gonna have Twan and I cut up, and then we're gonna weld it in, and we'll see how that turns out. So we're gonna just cut the garbage out.
Put some fresh meat back in there.
I'll put my fresh meat back in.
Gonna go right here as the inner skin, and then we're gonna fit the outer skin and cut this so you don't see it.
It looks like there's a little bend there, so we're gonna have to match that on our piece here. My dad's got a break in the other room. We're just gonna bend it about halfway down and try and match up with that so it looks right.
I'm gonna cut this because the whole piece doesn't fit in the break. We're gonna cut it on the mount right there, weld her in, and then make our other piece.
We're gonna have half up here, half back there. We're gonna have to do the same thing on this side for this mount here. We did the front piece. Now we're doing the back piece. We bent the back to match the bend of the front. We're trimming up the cab corner now. We're gonna fit the cab corner in, and then we're gonna do the same to the rocker. Weld it along here. We'll do the same thing on the driver's side.
Then you'll just go over that with some Bondo. You'll be all set.
Oh, how about we just don't put a rocker in it? We just make it all Bondo. Twan, what do you say?
She's in.
She's in. Side one. We're going to do the same exact thing on side two. All right, we're currently putting the other outer rocker on right now. Probably just gonna finish the video off here in all honesty. The video is getting really long and I can't use the body filler I need to use because it's currently too cold and the heat is out in the garage. So we're working in about a 40-degree garage and it says it will not set up anything under 41 degrees. So I do not wanna risk that. I'll wait until Tuesday when the new heater control comes in and then we'll tackle that in the next video. All right, y'all, that's gonna be it for this one. I really wanted to do the Bondo primer and paint on the rockers and the cab corners in this video, but the heater control decided to burn out in the garage, and therefore I can't do much under 41 degrees, and it's about 25 in there right now since yesterday. So we're gonna have to wait until at least next Tuesday for that. Special thanks to Twan for helping me out with the rockers and cab corners in this video. Much appreciation there because I am not great when it comes to metalwork. I'm much more mechanically inclined. What's left on the agenda for right now is Bondo primer and paint on the rockers. I'd like to tin it. I'd like to tune it. I'd like to put some bigger tires on it and a couple other little goodies like those speakers. But you guys let me know because honestly, I'm very grateful that y'all said do the rockers. I'm very grateful that y'all pushed me to do that because it's going to be a completely different vehicle from when I first got my hands on it. Therefore, if you guys think we should do a locker in the rear end, cam and springs, any other crazy stuff to this to make this thing more of a hot rod, I'm game for it. Let's do it. Let me know what you think below. I'll see you guys in the next one.